Dragon, rock dragon, come, get ready. Warning! Rayquaza is here, it will be top tier. You should now have fear, it's the deck of the year. Yo, listen to what I'm about to say. Rayquaza GX is here to slay, energy's everywhere. Okay, you won't be stopping us today. Discarding the top cards of our deck, the acceleration is quite sick. I can't believe it is so quick, our Tempest Jax will never break. Latias is now in play, setting us up in many ways. Rayquaza GX will then amaze with crazy damage in your face. Wanna stop us, then come and try. With God of War, we might just cry. But then it makes us say goodbye, but other than that, the rest will die. Powerful card will now review that can destroy you out of the blue. It's wonderful, we can't conclude, so let me know your point of view. Ha! Episode 178, Rayquaza GX. You ready? What's up YouTube, it's TCG here and welcome to episode 178 on my channel. As you know, on my channel we talk about the latest cards and best new decks in town, so be sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out. And also smack the little notification bell so you'll be the first to know when a new video pops up on the channel. Alright, in this video, by popular demand, we will finally check out the Rayquaza GX from the upcoming Celestial Storm set. As you know, Celestial Storm gets released on the 3rd of August, which is only 1 month away. Just as a little spoiler for you guys, Rayquaza GX will be a new archetype tier 1 deck that will do incredibly well once it's released. So today we will be reviewing the card. I will talk about a whole lot of partners and tech cards for it and even covering its weakness. So definitely stick around if you want to learn more about this fantastic new GX card. Firstly, we will begin with the bad news and weaknesses, and then we'll make our way to the good stuff. Does that sound good? Alright, let's go! Rayquaza GX is a basic Dragon-type GX Pokemon with 180 HP. Being a Dragon-type means we hit absolutely nothing for weakness, and that sucks. But it does mean we can make use of cards like Mysterious Treasure to search it out, or even a supporter called Zinnia as a comeback card, since that card allows us to attach up to 2 basic energy cards from our hand to one of our Dragon-type Pokemon, if one of our Pokemon got knocked out during the opponent's previous turn. So I guess being a Dragon-type does have its benefits here and there. The 180 HP is pretty standard nowadays for a basic GX Pokemon. 190 would have been tremendously better, since a lot of things can now easily one-shot Rayquaza GX. At the top of my head, there's Ultra Necrozma GX only needing 2 Psychic Energies with its Photon Geyser, Tapu GX with Nature's Judgment, Drompa GX with Berserk if it manages to get a Choice Band, Zoroark GX with a Choice Band if they decide to run Professor Kukui, Buzzwole GX with a Knuckle Impact if they have Tempest Prism Star sitting in the bench, and so much more. So a ton of popular Pokemon in the current standard format can easily hit for 180 damage, which kinda sucks for Rayquaza, to be honest, because he will easily get one-shotted. On top of that, there's also a tech card that can completely ruin Rayquaza GX, but more on that later. It has a weakness to Fairy, which means Gardevoir GX will be having a field day here and will easily one-shot Rayquaza GX. Sylveon GX, on the other hand, can also one-shot Rayquaza GX. And more importantly, here is the tech card here. There's a splashable tech card available to us to demolish Rayquaza GX, and that is the Dene from the Forbidden Light set. That Pokemon has an attack called Electric Chain, which deals 30 damage, but if you have a Lightning type Pokemon on your bench, it deals 60 damage instead. Pair that with a simple Choice Band and boom, Rayquaza GX will be going down for a simple double colorless energy. How crazy is that? Think about Zoroark GX decks that do rely on the promo Taboo Cocoa. Those decks will enjoy the addition of course, the single Dene to demolish the oh so popular Rayquaza GX. I guess Rayquaza players can always rely on fighting Fury Belt for an additional amount of HP to just prevent that little tech card before the rotation, but of course Field Blower is always there and it's kind of a threat. So yeah, the Dene kind of the neat weakness of Rayquaza for a funny reason here. The bad news doesn't end there though. Rayquaza GX has a retreat cost of 3. Believe it or not, even though Rayquaza is a relatively fast Pokemon in the video games, the Pokemon Company did decide to give this one 3 retreat costs. This means we can make use of Heavy Ball for 1 month before it rotates, and on the other hand, that will actually be kind of the hinder here. Once a Heavy Ball rotates, there's nothing that is good about a 3 retreat cost. It will be stuck in the active position from time to time. Rayquaza GX will be a sitting duck if it's stranded there. So now that we got all the bad news out of the way, it's time to focus on the good. let's check out the attacks and the wonderful ability. But first, I also want to mention that Zeraora GX, which will be a neat way to retreat here, because if all your Pokemon with the lightning energy has will get free retreat thanks to that Zeraora's ability, but Zeraora is only available in our 8 Sun and Moon set, and that will be the set in November. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit for our free retreat, so it'll be kind of an issue without Floatstone in the beginning of September here. But yeah, there's also a great way. Zeraora will be kind of an amazing partner for Rayquaza, since it also relies on lightning energies. Anyhow, back to Rayquaza GX and its ability. Its ability is called Storm and Stress. At least if we translate it from Japan right now. It could be different when it comes overseas here, but the name is not as just besides the point here. The ability states, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may discard the top 3 cards of your deck. Then attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. So, as you all know, built-in energy acceleration is always amazing. The downside of discarding cards doesn't always have to be a bad thing, folks. You can always use it to your advantage, since discarding energies with that will help you out a ton to then get that energy equipped immediately. I know sometimes we will discard important cards like great supporters such as the crucial Guzma, for example, or great Pokemon tech cards, etc. But don't worry, here are a few recovery cards I strongly recommend. First is Palpat, not seeing play in a lot of decks, but it does help to recover 2 supporters from your discard pile all the way back in your deck. So in this deck, it can be really a lifesaver if you discarded important supporters early game, thanks to the ability of Rayquaza GX. Of course, we also have Super Rod, but that will rotate in September, so the next best thing is, of course, Rescue Stretcher. This won't recover energies, but it'll recover your Pokemon in kind of the better way than Super Rod, because you can either put 3 of them in the deck or grab 1 of them directly into your hand. So a very good card indeed here, because we do want to leave our energies in the discard for Rayquaza GX to then abuse it with its ability. And not only that, did you know that Latias Prism Star is also coming out? This fantastic Prism Star has an incredible attack called Dream Mist, which deals 30 damage, which is already sweet as it is, and it lets us attach a basic energy card from our discard pile to each one of our basic bench dragon type Pokemon. So how crazy is that? Let's say we have 3 Rayquaza GX on the bench. Then we automatically can attach 3 energies from the discard pile to those Rayquazas. So whoever said discarding the top cards of your deck was bad, well, Rayquaza GX does like it a lot. So the more energies in the discard, the better it works out for Latias Prism Star. Also, Latias Prism Star has 130 HP, and that, folks, is really a life-saving amount of HP, because that extra 10 HP makes sure that we can survive hits against Righteous Beating of Zeraora GX, and that's very good. Also, Golisopod with First Impression will not be able to one-shot Latias Prism Star, and that helps out tremendously. Also, one more example, Dawnwing's Necrozma GX also limits at 120 damage with the Dark Flash attack, so unless they decide to use his GX move, which they only can do if they are behind in prize cards, we will survive a lot of hits. Okay, definitely an inclusion in Rayquaza GX, and the deck, if you're making a deck with Rayquaza GX, Latias Prism Star is an absolute must. So, moving on with Rayquaza GX, the first attack is called Dragon Break, and it deals 30 damage times the amount of basic grass and basic lightning energies attached to your Pokemon in play. And it does specify basic energies, so unfortunately Rainbow Energy, Unit Energy, and other special energies for that matter won't count. So let us calculate some damage. The attack cost is Grass Lightning Careless, meaning you already need 3 energies equipped. So that is already 90 damage as the base damage. Add that with a Choice Band in the early game and a Latias Prism Star doing its Dream Mist attack for a couple of turns to accelerate energies, and the ability of Rayquaza GX that has built-in energy acceleration, and out of nowhere you will be able to one-shot anything in the game. The thing you will have to remember here is that having 6 energies in play will be the key combination here, because combined with a Choice Band you hit for 210 damage then. That is enough to one-shot main threat like Zeraora GX, Boswell GX, Ultra Necrozma GX, and more. Did I forget to mention that we also have the Devoured Field at our disposal to get that extra 10 damage, so that could also work out in your favor. Moving on, we also have a GX move called Tempest Jax, and it's kind of similar like, of course, the GX move of Drampa, but it's a little bit better in that regard because it stays discard your entire hand, and then draw 10 cards. That for simply grass energy, that's not a lot you need. Let's say you're dead draw in the early game, boom, promote Rayquaza, grass energy, and off you are rolling. And the more energies you discard with that GX move, the better for you, because Latias Prism Star can make good use of that. So ladies and gentlemen, that is crazy consistency. Let's say in the early phases of the game, so your early turn, you have a bunch of energies in your hand. You decide to use Tempest Jax, and the next turn you promote Latias Prism Star, and boom! Crazy energy acceleration as soon as turn 2. In combination with benching some more Rayquaza GXs to get more energies into play, you will be racking everyone on the field the following turn after that. Quite amazing, right? Also, dead hands are no longer an issue. I know N is still illegal for 1 month when this card is out. If they N you, poof, and you only have 1 card, don't matter, it doesn't matter, you promote Rayquaza and boom, you're back with 10 cards. How sweet is that for a GX move? Okay, now that we have reviewed Rayquaza GX entirely, we will talk about some great cards that pair really well with it. Don't try to fit them all into one deck. I'm just gonna mention a couple of cards and decide whether you want to include it in your deck or not. Definitely don't run 2 stage 2s, just as a little disclaimer here. So you'll have a main idea after I give you all of these information to make your own version with Rayquaza GX as soon as Celestial Storm hits the stores. First up is the crucial Latias Prism Star. I already said that this card is pretty crucial, so definitely include it. It will not cost that much because Prism Stars usually don't tend to cost a lot of money. Think about the NC Prism Star only limited at $5, so it is kind of affordable. Talking about energy acceleration, Vikavolt or Vikavolt, whatever you want to pronounce this, from the Sun and Moon base set can also work out pretty great. I know it's a stage 2 Pokemon, but once you are able to get it out, you can search your deck for a grass and a lightning energy and attach it to your Pokemon in any way you like. You remember the Tapu Bulu deck? Well, Rayquaza will dominate that. Rayquaza is better than Tapu Bulu, and that's stacks. So if you get out 2 Vikavolts for some reason, if you run 4 rare candy, that could be the case. You can just use the ability twice and off you are rolling, getting a bunch of energies into play. This is just perfect for Rayquaza GX. Because, yeah, did you know Rayquaza needs grass and lightning? It's just perfect. So you can definitely try out Vikavolt in your deck, and don't forget your rare candies, because you will need a speedy evolution in this type of format. So Grubbins with 4 rare candy, yeah, that's what you want. Speedy evolution, boom, Vikavolt, and off you're off. Off you're rolling. Next card I'll be talking about is Taboo Cocoa Gx. This card from the Guardians Rising set did saw a little bit of play here and there with Fighting Fury Belt, Eater's Paradise, Conservation Area, Acerola, Super Scoop Up, you know, that little deck that likes to attack and repeat itself. It's true, but in this deck we can use it for its wonderful GX move. Rayquaza GX doesn't have an attacking GX move, so in some situations where we don't need to rely on Tempest Jax, we can rely on Taboo Cocoa Gx, which will be ideal to demolish opponents with this GX move, because it deals 50 damage times the amount of energies attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon, so ideal for the mirror match, but also works out if the opponent decides to rely too much on B-strings and the stuff. In case of Boswell decks or Molimar variants, they rely on a bunch of energy, so very solid attack. And Sky High Claws can also deal a flat 130, which can be sweet to get rid of things like Latias Prism Star in the mirror match, and as a bonus you can also smack some Greninjas before rotation. As a bonus you can fly into the active position with its ability Arrow Trail, and then you can also switch from position to attach some lightning energy. So very solid tech card. I personally would include that if I would make a Rayquaza GX deck. Also, I should mention Max Elixir. It's an item card that has been around for ages, but we only have use for it for 1 more month before it rotates, so definitely include it. Energy acceleration is key. You do run basic energy, so as soon as Celestial Storm hits, try it out with Max Elixir, win some tournaments, but after September, say goodbye to it, because yeah, it's just that amazing. Mysterious Treasure. Also a consistency card I talked about before. It gets out your Lily, it gets out your Rayquaza. So definitely try out a couple of copies besides your Ultra Balls to ensure you have your discarding effect, because Mysterious Treasure discards a card, Ultra Ball discards a card, so you discard a lot of energies, hopefully, in the discard, and boom, off you're rolling with your Rayquaza GX's ability or Latias Prism Star. Sycamore, an amazing draw supporter, but will rotate when the rotation takes place on the 1st of September, but we have Tourist, a need replacement. It lets you discard your entire hand and then you can draw 5 cards. So that'll be nice to use as a replacement of Sycamore, because discarding is kind of the main thing here. Thinking about it, as soon as Zubstrika gets released, we can also rely on that for draw support. Artillery will get rotated. You can just discard your hand and draw 4 cards with that ability, and it stacks for every Zubstrika you have in play. Although using Oranguru could also work out in your favor. but you cannot get that out with Mysterious Treasure. And also, yeah, as a matter of fact, Mysterious Treasure only works for Psychic and Dragon type, so you definitely want to just use those in your deck to lower your hand size and then rely either on Oranguru for draw support or maybe the Striker that comes out soon. As you know, we have retreat issues in our deck, so playing a lot of Guzmas in your deck will be the main key here, because otherwise the Rayquaza GX will be stuck in the active position for forever. Taboo Cocoa Gx with Arrow Trail could be a neat combo. You can just swipe in the active position, start attacking with that, and then decide to use a bunch of Max Elixir on the bench and stuff. Without Float Stone, it will be even harder, so you definitely need Float Stones before rotation, but after rotation, maybe you can rely on a skateboard for a while, but I haven't tested that out yet. It only lowers the retreat cost by 1, so as soon as Zeraora GX gets released in November, this will be an automatic must, because that one brings free retreat to your entire deck that has a lightning energy attached, so that is awesome. So it's gonna be a tough period between losing Floatstone and getting the Zeraora, in my opinion. Next up is Mellow. Also something neat I want to try here is Mellow. With that we can put 2 energies on top of the deck, so we can make sure that if we use Rayquaza GX's ability, we don't discard too many crucial things, and we can immediately make use of the energies in the discard. So that could work out perfectly. Energy Switch, on the other hand, is something I adore with Rayquaza GX, because it can potentially make you donk. Let's say you start with Rayquaza GX on your first turn. If you go second, of course, we can immediately attack. So otherwise you cannot attack, because on the first turn you cannot attack. If you go second, we can. We smack down 2 Rayquaza GXs on the bench, and we possibly have 2 energies in the discard. How cool is that? We got an Ultra Ball. We just attach those energies immediately, because we're gonna discard the top 3 cards from our deck to use our Rayquaza GX's ability. Then we rely on 2 Energy Switch, because we top deck the Sycamore or anything like that. Boom, and then out of nowhere, with a manual attachment and those Energy Switches, you can just attack with Rayquaza GX on the very first turn that if you go second. And this will most likely not work as much as I wanted it to work, but Energy Switch is just that amazing. You can start swinging out some damage as soon as turn 2. Okay, this is very dangerous for the opponent, that if they rely on a weak basic, they are knocked out. If they rely on GX, you can 2-shot them. So things are looking very well for that. It's very obviously, yeah, very obvious that I like Energy Switch. Next up, I want to talk about some more energy acceleration. We know we have Latias Prism Star and potentially Vikavolt if you run that, but did you know that Arceus Prism Star can also accelerate 3 energies straightly from your deck? Yep, it's true. The only thing that we need in order to get that attack going is a Grass Pokemon, a Lightning Pokemon, and a Water type Pokemon on our bench. And we are playing Lightning and Grass energies, so why not try that out? It wouldn't be that bothersome to have them on the bench. So thinking about it, Zeraora GX could be sitting on the bench, maybe with a Pheromosa up there, and maybe Octillery, although Octillery will have been rotated by the time Zeraora gets released. Maybe a little Vulpix. It doesn't even matter what it has to be here, because as soon as you get that requirement, you can accelerate a ton of energy straightly from your deck. So Arceus Prism Star could also see a little bit of play here and there, although Latias Prism Star is obviously way better. Another rogue thing you can try out is Venusaur from Shining Legends. This will actually work with Rayquaza GX, since it doubles the amount of grass type energies. This means that with a skateboard, you should be able to retreat with only 1 energy, which could work in before the release of Zeraora GX. I know Vikavolt is more consistent than Venusaur, because yeah, built-in energy acceleration out of the deck is very good, but Venusaur also is kind of a neat card, because that way you can pair with things like Tapu Bulu as well, which hits for weakness against Lycanroc GX, Zygarde GX, Lapras GX, etc. Also, Escape Rope could also be the way out, or actually a way out, because yeah, retreating, and for the Floatstone gets rotated and we don't have Zeraora as of yet, you can try out Escape Rope as well. So pretty neat. The ideas still keep on floating, guys. Next thing is B-String. B-String obviously doesn't work on Rayquaza GX, since it's not an Ultra Beast, but Pheromosa GX and Xurkitree GX both are Ultra Beasts and have the types that we yeah, have energies for. So the strategy would be here relying maybe on Arceus Prism Star or Latias for the early phase of the game for early energy acceleration, and as soon as the opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards remaining, boom, we spam the B-Strings on all of our Ultra Beasts, and yeah, as soon as you know it, there's a bunch of energies on your field, because every energy counts as 30 damage for Rayquaza GX, and the damage output goes through the roof. Although it's a little bit gimmicky, it could work out. Definitely don't try and fit all these cards together into one deck, since that won't work, but make a selection. In my opinion, relying on Latias Prism Star in combination with Max Elixir is the best before rotation. After rotation, grabbing to Vikavolt will be the best in my opinion, and as soon as Zeraora GX hits the scene, put it in your deck. It's just so amazing. And that's it for another episode on the channel. Hopefully Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and learned a few things here and there about Rayquaza GX. Be sure to let me know in the comment section what you think about Rayquaza GX and with what you will pair it with. Also, do you think that Rayquaza GX is a little bit overhyped, or do you think the hype is real? Will it be huge? Let me know in the comment section. I'm pretty curious. Also, smash the hell out of the like button. You know I always appreciate that and it helps out the channel immensely. Episode suggestions are always welcome in the comment section as well. And that pretty much wraps it up once again for another episode. Subscribe for more weekly TCG content, and I wish you a very fantastic rest of your day. See you all in the next Pokemon TCG video. I'm out. Peace. If you wanna go and test the deck that isn't played a lot in this format, then listen to what I'll say. If you wanna go and try it out with me, let me know how it does in a tournament. I think it could be really great. Chilling on Sundays while new ideas pop in.